According to the bylaws, this dock is common property. You cannot restrict access. Remove this chain immediately or face the consequences.
I am the consequences.
Blue lights washed the marina as I stood in the cold air, boat shoes soaking on the wet planks, coffee turning bitter in my mouth. A new shiny padlock hung on the HOA dock gate like a cuff. A paper notice slapped in the wind. Pay emergency repair assessment by 9:00 p.m. or leave. My kayak bobbed behind the fence, useless. Diesel smell from the harbor mixed with fresh asphalt from the parking lot patch. Karen from the board, big sunglasses at night, smirked from her golf cart. She said the rule was simple. Pay $2,400 now or lose access for 48 hours. My kid's fishing trip, gone. My work commute by water, gone. She waved at the patrol car she had called. He belongs to the dock? He can wait. I felt my jaw lock colder than the chain. This wasn't a fee. It was a shove. And here's the point. This was HOA Padlocked. The dock for 48 hours, pay or leave. Too bad I am the state attorney. Not the criminal kind, but I know statutes and sunshine like most folks know sports. I told her the dock was a recorded common element with a non-exclusive easement. She laughed, did a slow clap, and told me to write a letter. Fine. I looked at the deadline again. The date read May 3rd, 2024. The gate rattled in the wind like a dare. I could fight today, or I could make it count. I picked count. I tried to reason first. I called the board number at 9:17 p.m. No answer. I knocked on the clubhouse door. The treasurer peeked out and said, "Come to the next meeting." A neighbor whispered behind me, "Don't push them. They ban people here." Another neighbor looked down, rolled his trash bin away like the pavement was lava. I posted a calm question on the community page. 2 likes. No comments. The next morning, Karen's cart blocked the path. She said late fees start at $800. I told her I wanted to appeal. She shrugged. Rules are rules. She held up a clipboard and counted. Complaint number 1. Your tone? The cop from last night drove by slow. He didn't stop. It felt like I was shouting into a fan, so I drew a line. Proper channels only. No drama, just documents. I spent the day building the boring storm. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I filed a public records request to the city for HOA permits, dock inspections, and police dispatch logs. The file landed with 63 pages. Then I pulled the plat, the covenants, and the marina lease. I set a simple timeline on a yellow pad. Timeline item 1, April 5 at 4:27 a.m., false trespass call. Timeline item 2, April 28th at 3:12 p.m., secret board vote by text. Timeline item 3, May 3 at 7:45 p.m., padlock installed without notice. Here's the plain law line that mattered. Common elements can't be withheld to force payment, and open meetings must be, well, open. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. I kept my temper folded inside the binder rings. By noon, the receipts had a heartbeat. The inspection report showed no emergency repairs, only a recommendation for new cleats by summer. The dispatch log showed 8 calls from Karen's number in 1 month, with notes like, resident refusing to follow made-up rule. The building permit? None. Even better, the HOA group text, attached by mistake, read launch the lock now while he's at work. At 5:50 p.m., I walked to the chain with a marine inspector and a city council aide. Neighbors trailed, phones up. Karen rolled in hot. She told the inspector to leave the private property. The aide spoke soft, but loud enough for cameras. This dock sits on city-owned riparian land leased to the HOA. You can't bar a lawful user, especially not for collection pressure. Karen pouted. The inspector pointed at the lock and the missing permit tag. Unlawful alteration of shared access. The cop from the night before stood by, watching his pen, then the flip. I opened my binder and set it on the golf cart seat. I showed the aide the text thread and the vote taken outside a meeting. I showed the cop the dispatch pattern and the timeline. I didn't raise my voice. I just let the pages talk. The council aide asked if there was a quorum. Karen said yes, in a group chat. The aide blinked like he'd tasted lemon. That's not a meeting. The inspector asked who installed the lock. Karen said a cousin. Licensed? She looked at her shoes. I hit play on a short clip a neighbor sent at 7:02 p.m. last night. Karen giggling, telling the cousin to hurry before the attorney docks in. The laughter around us was small at first, then it grew. Someone whispered, plot twist. Comment bubbles popped on the live stream. Girl tried the wrong one. Even the pelicans looked smug. The authority tide turned in a minute. The inspector wrote a red tag and ordered immediate removal. The cop took a statement, then wrote a citation for interfering with access and misuse of emergency services tied to those 8 calls. The council aide called for a compliance hearing and asked for the board ledger. I slid over the page with the emergency assessment math. It didn't add up. Vendors with no license. A check to a shell named Seaside Solutions. The aide asked for the treasurer. He was already backing away. Karen tried one last bluff. She said the community supported her. The live chat disagreed in giant hearts and laugh emojis. The guard chain came off at 6:11 p.m. with a nice clank, and we all heard it. Clarity has a sound. The aftermath was quiet, and that's how I like it. The board held a real meeting 2 weeks later. The treasurer resigned. Karen lost her seat, then her temper, then the room. The city fined the HOA and ordered refunds for the fake assessment within 30 days. The cousin got a warning for unlicensed work. The police put a note on the address. Verify, don't rush. The dock feels like a dock again. On June 1st at 7:15 a.m., my kid pulled up a small redfish and did a dance on the planks while the sun came up like a soft orange. A neighbor who never spoke to me before handed us a thermos and said thanks for keeping it lawful. I said the same thing I told myself under the chain on that cold night. Do it by the book. It takes longer, but it sticks. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.